Shanti Shanti.
Aptakama Rishayah Akramanti. They ascend by which? Yena. Yena means that path they are talking about. By which the Aptakama Rishis, they ascend. Ascend to what? Yatra tat satyasya paramam nidhanam. Where the ultimate treasure of truth is kept. See, here also, the path also is satya. As I said, that knowledge, the path also is jnana. And finally, walking that path, what you are getting is also jnana. You are becoming jnana. Here also, the path also is satya. And walking that path, finally, what do you get? Yatra tat satyasya paramam nidhanam. Where the supreme nidhana, the supreme treasure of satya is kept. Of, you can say, the abode, where the supreme abode of truth is there. They ascend to that abode, the supreme abode of truth. Now, as we go deeper into it, this satyam eva jayate na anritam. Now, whenever we are speaking about the transcendental truth, which is the substratum of all dualities, that means both bad, both evil and good, they are hosted by this ultimate truth, Atma or consciousness, Dukkha, Sukha, good, bad. Similarly, Satya, Mithya, in the usual way, moral code of Satya, Mithya, both are hosted by that. Both are appearing on the same consciousness. Now, one may say that then why do I have to practice Satya? Since that is transcendental, from where both of these have come, remaining bad, why not I climb over to that transcendental level? Remaining devoted to Mithya, I should be able to go to that transcendental level, because finally Satya, Mithya both are transcendent. No, it will not work. Because we have to look into how Mithya works. Any falsehood when we are resorting to, as I said earlier also, when we are telling lies or trying to hide something or posing ourselves to be a different person than we are, whenever there is a cover, there is a hiding, there is an opacity, it means that we are, by that tendency, we are consolidating our constricted identity, the egoistic identity, our fragmented identity, what we are always knowing as I. So, in going to this path to have this Atmic realization, we have to move from that constricted I to the universal I. So, whatever is reinforcing, consolidating, crystallizing this constricted identity will not allow me to expand and go to that universal I. So, whenever we are taking recourse to any falsehood, any maya, any mithya, we are actually consolidating, we are crystallizing our usual constricted identity, and by that we are coming away from the real universal identity, the ultimate truth. So, although Anrita and Satya in the usual dual sense, whatever they are, both we have to transcend to reach to that ultimate truth. The path can only be through Satya, not through Mithya, because Mithya will take us away from that. As I said, the thumb rule of spirituality, what is sadhana and what is not sadhana, that we are starting from a point where our concept of our identity is small, constricted, and we have to reach the point where our I becomes universal, uniform, all-pervading, infinite. So, what will take us from this constricted to this infinitude? Only expansion, only removing fragmentation, removing the non-uniformities will take us to that ultimate uniform oneness. So, like that, whatever we are, that process, the sadhana we are following, it has to be laid with Satya. It cannot be through Mithya or through Anrita. In Prashnopanishad, there is a shloka. It is Prashnopanishad 16th shloka. Teshamasau virajo brahmaloko na yeshu jimham anritam na maya cheti. He says, Tesham asau virajaha brahmalokaha na yeshu Jimham Anitam na Maya Cheti. This Viraja Brahma Loka. This Brahma Loka means it is not something like the heaven. Brahma Loka means this Brahmic realization. That is our Brahma Loka. Now this Brahma Loka is called Viraja because Raja means changefulness, activity, smallness, everything is involved there. Kartritva, Bhoktritva, everything is there. Viraja means there all these fragmentations are not there. No Kartritva, no Bhoktritva, no constriction. So that Brahma Loka, it is reserved from them who are not haunted by these three things, who are not hosting these three things. What are they? Jimham, Anitam, Maya. Now Maya, in general Maya, Prakriti is called Maya, but here when we talk about Maya regarding somebody's personality, Maya means also the same delusion. That means one who poses himself to be different from what he is. That is called Maya. That he deludes people. So he is causing delusion in others. He tries to delude people by posing himself to be different. That means he is hiding his real nature, his real identity. Anrita. Anrita means falsehood. If anybody is given to Anrita, falsehood, then also this Brahma Loka is not for him. The third one is Jimham, which is still worse, which means crookedness. That you try to deceive others with crookedness of the mind and all, complexity of the mind, very complicated mind. For them also, this Brahma Loka is not there. If we have any of these three, then Brahma Loka is not for him. So, that is why they have said, Satyam eva jayate na anritam. Na anritam means this anritam, jimham, maya, all these are included there. Anything that hides our real nature is anritam. Not only that, this jayate also has to be understood properly. This jayate means ultimately, as I said, that it will lead you to the ultimate fulfillment, to that ultimate goal where you discover your real identity. That is the jaya here, because we are pursuing a path. There the win will be when we reach the goal. The goal is the Atma, that is the ultimate aim. So here jayate means reaching that goal. So to reach that goal, we have to follow the path of Satya. We cannot take to any Anrita there. Even otherwise also, in the lower sense also, at a lower level also, this is true, because normally what is the jaya for us? We all want to become happy, is it not so? Whatever we are doing, we may work in the factory, we may run a business, we may do this, we may do that, but finally what are we aiming at? To become happy. Now if we take to mithya there, are we finally becoming happy? That we have to see. In any project, if we take to mithya, are we finally becoming happy? We may fulfill our some desires, like we may become richer by that, we may become wealthy by that, we may become more famous by that. But the ultimate jaya we have to see, not in that sense that we have won the wealth and so we have won the game. No, by winning wealth, if your mind has become constricted, grieving, it has become weak, then will you call it a win? You might have won money, you might have won property, you might have won fame, you might have won people, many things might have happened. But by that, what are you attempting? You wanted to become happy. If your mind becomes shrunk, if your mind becomes small, it becomes weak, then we cannot call it winning. So finally you lose the game. That way also it is very true that if you take the satya and mithya in the at the lower level, then also it is true. The satyam eva jayate na anritam. By that nothing is finally won. Satyena pantha vitato devayanaha. That devayanaha, the divine path of brilliance, the divine path of light, will is laid with truth. Because the moment you take to mithya, you are deviating from the shreyas. The divine path of light is the path of shreyas. Whenever you are choosing between shreyas and preyas, and in choosing preyas, you are deviating from shreyas, deviating from satya, you are coming away from the Devayana. Devayana is the path of, the path means whatever we are saying, the anchored, remaining anchored in the soul, the path of Shreyas, that is the path. Yena akramanti, that is on that path, by that path the rishis ascend. Yena akramanti, the rishis, who ascend? Aptakamaha rishayaha akramanti. See, aptakama means actually those have fulfilled all their desires. Truly speaking, it means desireless. Who will fulfill all their desires? If a person is full of desires, he will go on fulfilling his desires, it will never end. Will ever your all desires be fulfilled? Although aptakama means whose all desires are fulfilled. When will all desires be fulfilled? Only when you become desireless. Then all the desires will be fulfilled for him. So, this aptakama we have to understand. I had earlier said about Nachiketa's statement, that great statement, that 5 cardinal statements of Nachiketa, which he told Yamaraja before saying Tavaiva Vahas Tava Nitya Gete, that oh Yamaraja, all these chariots and dance uses, all of these be with you. Nachiketa is not interested in them at all. There he had mentioned that api sarvam jivitam alpameva. Api sarvam jivitam alpameva. He said that, oh Yamaraja, you have given me so much of property, and you have given me the kingship of the entire earth, and so many things, dance uses, chariots, gold studded, diamond studded chariot, all these things. And you have given me a lifespan also. You told me that you enjoy for thousands of years. But any lifespan you give is insufficient for a human being. Why insufficient? He has not used small. Suppose the span is small. Somebody lives 20 years. After 20 years, he would like to live more for fulfilling desires. Somebody has lived 100 years. If his desires are still not gone, he would still like to live. Nobody wants to die. A person will be ready to die or live only when his desires are not there. Suppose at 10 years of age, a person is free of desires, then that 10 years is sufficient for him. If it takes 30 years to become free of desires, desireless, then 30 years is sufficient for his lifespan. He can die anytime, he can live also any number of years. But just the lifespan will not fulfill a person. If we are looking for fulfillment, the lifespan, any lifespan is insufficient. One has to become desireless to have that. So this apta kama, although it means whose all kamas are fulfilled, all desires are fulfilled, it actually means that who is desireless. The rishis who are desireless, by becoming desireless, they ascend on this devayana, this path of light, which will take them to that ultimate auspicious goal. What is that goal? Yatra tat satyasya paramam nidhanam. What is the ultimate truth, that the ultimate treasure or the ultimate supreme abode of truth? They reach there. So although we may start with the usual moral code of satya and mithya, but they are saying that by moving on the path of truth, finally they reach that ultimate truth, the ultimate reality, which is their own soul, the Atma or the Brahman. That is the ultimate goal they reach. Satyameva jayate nanritam. Satyena pantha vitato devayanaha. Yena kramantrishyo hyaptakamaha. Yatra tat satyasya paramam nidhanam. Next verse. Brihaccha tad divyam achintya rupam Sukshmaccha tat sukshmataram vibhati Durat sudure tadihantike cha Pashyat-svihaiva nihitam guhayam Brihatcha tad-divyam achintya rupam Sukshmacha tat-sukshmataram vibhati Durat sudure tadihantike cha Pashyat-svihaiva nihitam guhayam Vrihat cha tat divyam achintya rupam Sukshmat cha tat sukshmataram vibhati Durat sudure tat ihantike cha Pashyatsu Iha eva nihitam guhayam. Pashyatsu iha eva nihitam guhayam. All this iha eva, they are extremely important. We should be very attentive about this. He says, Brihat cha tad divyam achintya rupam. Now again, it is more or less similar what we have been discussing. He says, Brihat means great. That the whole universe, actually it is infinite. So it is greater than the greatest, Brihat. Tat divyam, divyam means that divine, and divyam has come from div dhatu. As I said, devayanaha, that div dhatu means brilliance. Whatever powers have got their own light, that is, our devas are having their own powers, that is why they are called devas. It has come from the div dhatu, which means light. So divyam means divine, means it is light. Now these are not the physical light, this is not the physically great, because they will say the greater than the greatest, smaller than the smallest, as in Kathopanishad, anoraniyan mahato mahiyan atmasyanto nihito guhayam, that it is smaller than the smallest particle, anoraniyan, mahato mahiyan means greater than the greatest. Atma asya jantur nihitaha guhayam nihitaha. But at the same time, it is right there in the hrid guha of ourselves. In every being, it is right there in their heart. It is bigger than the biggest, smaller than the smallest. Now naturally, they are not talking about objective big and small. Because both the greatest, the whole universe is hosted in this, is appearing in that consciousness. And the minutest particle is also appearing in that consciousness. It is hosting both. So can we not say that it is bigger than the biggest and smaller than the smallest? It is in that sense, in the transcendental sense. And divyam achintya rupam. Now why have they said achintya rupam? Means whatever mental concept we may form. This rupa means generally form. But it is actually formless. It is not even formless. It is neither formless nor form, because all the forms have come out of it. Whatever forms we are seeing, they are all hosted by this consciousness, by the Atma. Otherwise we will not find any form at all. And when you realize in its pristine, unmanifest form, it is formless also. So although it is formless, it is the source of all forms. So can we call it, it has got any rupa? It is beyond, transcending all rupa. So he is saying achintya rupam, the form of which cannot be conceived of. whatever concept we form in our mind, whatever vritti is there, it is transcending that, because the vritti is appearing in that consciousness, and all the vrittis are appearing in that consciousness. So vrihat tad divyam achintya rupam. Now after saying vrihat, again just like the Kathopanishad shloka, he is saying sukshmat chatat sukshmataram vibhati. At the same time, it is manifest as the subtler than the subtlest, vibhati, as divided subtler than the subtlest. Now there also, if you think of the objective subtlety, that the water is subtler than the stone, the air is subtler than the water, the space is subtler than air, like that if you go on thinking, no, you will not reach, because these are all our mental concepts. We are thinking of the space. The space is a mental concept. The time is a mental concept. The matter is a mental concept. All these concepts are hosted by that consciousness. These concepts are revealed by the consciousness. So it is surpassing all of them. It is transcending all of them. So brihat chatat divyam achintya rupam sukshmat chatat sukshmataram vibhati. Durat sudure. It is farther than the farthest, as far as you can go. That is only in the space. Tat ihantikecha, and the nearer than the nearest, wherever you come, very close to you. Actually it is not only close, it is at the zero distance. Wherever you come, farther than the farthest and the nearer than the nearest. You cannot limit it by any such distance at all. Pashyatsu iha eva nihitam guhayam. Pashyatsu, that means those who are finding it, those who are seeing it, the rishis. Iha eva, here in this life, in this body they are seeing. That is, for this you don't have to leave the body and go to one heaven, then to pass on to the Brahma Loka, and then you will be seeing, you will be having this realization. No, this realization has to be had here itself. Those who see it, they see it where? Nihitam guhayam, hidden in the, kept well in the hidden cave, cavern of our heart. Now this guhayam, as I said earlier also, we use two expressions. One is hrid guha, another is buddhi guha. See, whenever we say hrid guha, it is the emotional center of our being. That is the I we are referring as hrid guha. Because hridaya is our emotional center, so it is right in the heart. Because I we are saying, but when you look into what is that, who am I, where is that I? So it is in the center from where that I-ness or amness is coming. That is our hrid guha, and whenever we approach through the intelligence means finally the intelligence is the effortful intelligence which is coming out of the bodhi, that is where anything shines, any understanding, any unfolding, any enlightenment that shines. So when we try to locate that I, what is that real I who is looking at the universe, who is looking at the, which is revealing the universe as well as the thoughts, the emotions within us also. The external world as well as the internal world of thought, emotions, whatever vrittis are there in the mind, that I is revealing. When we approach through that what is the center of that knowingness, then we call it buddhi guha. Actually both are identical, there is no difference at all. We may call it hrid guha, we may call it buddhi guha. So they pashyatsu ihaiva nihitam guhayam. They see it in that hrid guha or buddhi guha, in the cavern of our heart, there itself. That is, we cannot see this, find this Atma anywhere in the universe. We don't have to go by a space ship to find out somewhere beyond the galaxy or so. We cannot. We cannot even find it here inside the book or inside the table or inside the camera. No. Nowhere we can find it. To find it, we have to look within, where from our amness is coming. That is the only way we can find. But when we find it, we find that the whole universe, which contains my body, mind, personality also as a small speck, is appearing in that consciousness. So in that sense, we cannot call it inside the body. Although We can locate it only going inside the body while we are living here, while we are in this body. But when we discover it, it is the consciousness in which the whole universe which contains my body, mind, personality is appearing to be. It is described as antashunyo bahishunyaha shunya kumbhaivambare antahpurno bahipurnaha purna kumbhaivaranave.